Like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.
Habits are the product of character. So if a person does something with one thing, they tend to do it with other things, and people don't notice it till later. So today, what we're going to discuss is the idea, like pets mainly, but how people want things: pets, kids, friends, lovers, family members, and when they get those things, they often neglect them, and then when they lose those things, they act as if they were deserving of them in the first place. There's something I've noticed about pet ownership. A lot of people don't actually want pets. They want the aesthetic of pets. They want the cute photos. They want the emotional comfort. They want the idea of companionship, but they don't want the responsibility. And the sad part is, pets end up paying the price for that ignorance. Like kids, many people only think about the aspect and the beautiful part of owning a pet. They see the fluffy cat, the energetic dog, the cute personality, but they don't think about the responsibility, the patience, the research, the daily maintenance, or even like with certain breeds, they're better in certain climates and they're worse in certain climates. And some of them are not supposed to be outside. Some of them have instincts to be guard dogs. So it's better to not have that dog if you're going to have a lot of guests around or if you live in the neighborhood around people. Some animals were made for or bred to be shepherd animals. So they're better on farms and places with lots of open space and things like that. You end up with dogs spending their entire lives in cages, locked in bedrooms, tied to backyard fences, left outside no matter the weather, rain, heat, cold. It doesn't matter because for many people, the pet already served its purpose. The excitement faded, the novelty wore off, and now the animal becomes background noise. Even worse, too many people see pets as inanimate objects, not living beings with emotions, boundaries, and psychological needs. Pause on that. I notice y'all do that with children too. Children tell them different things they experiencing, and they write the child emotion off because of the fact that they're children and they feel like they don't deserve to have emotion, even though pretty much all of us, unless we have amnesia or we had real traumatic experiences or some type of memory blocker, we remember feeling unseen by adults as children. We remember trying to tell adults when things were going wrong and they brushed us off that we didn't know what we were talking about, or we may have tried to warn an adult not to do something because we learned about it in school, only for that adult to just go against us because what child can tell me what to do type stuff. It's the same thing with pets. And it's the same thing with people who end up in relationships or end up in friendships and you always feel neglected. You always feel left out. Now with social media, y'all get to watch people who act like they too busy for you give other people the world. And in a lot of cases, you may be the person that they come to when they're crawling, and when they flying, they don't know you anymore. And it's lather, rinse, and repeat. God forbid if you related to them, they definitely gonna use you to the max and then keep that bond going because they're family. And all of these character behaviors, these people who neglect pets, in my experience, they typically are neglectful lovers. They are typically neglectful friends. You will see a person with these fancy dogs, but the dogs stay locked up in the cage all day. And then when you try to be friends with that person, you find that they trying to chase clout with all kinds of random people who don't care about them. And then when you look at their connection with their family can't rely on them because they so busy trying to be seen and trying to be a part of everything. So now you having one person neglecting dogs, friends, lovers, and family. And these types of things people don't talk about because it's like people are so miserable in a way that they chase thrill. Like everything is thrill, gossip, fun, just things that's not really helpful in the grand scheme of things. And one of the things that really prompted me to post this was because of the fact that I was always told to download the Nextdoor app. And to my surprise, when I download the app, all it is people with lost animals. But when I look around the neighborhood, these animals literally are not trained. no leashes on the dogs. They Dog could be running down the street. The person is standing in place saying, "Come back, Scruffy, Scruffy, Scruffy." Like they literally act as if these animals are not teachable, trainable. Like they don't give them any structure, and the animals do with that just like children do when there's no structure. We see it in society nowadays. A lot of the adults causing problems in public, they didn't have structure growing up for whatever reason. And I mean, some reasons could be due to lack of, some reasons could be due to pure neglect, some reasons could be a gumbo pot of all types of issues. Whatever the reason of why is cool to know for future reference, but what can we do about now? What can people do now? Like it's so many adoption shelters spilling over because people want to be Instagram cute with these animals for a few days and then they either abandon them completely on the side of the road, they leave them in front of people's house, they let them out the gate and tell them don't come back. Some people chase the animals off. Just so many different things. And it's like the fact that it's animals, no, it's not really a big issue. If it was people doing it to children, it would be an issue. But then these same people neglect their children the same way. Look at everyone you know who is neglecting children, and if they have a pet, I guarantee you that pet ain't being treated any better. And back to not living beings with emotions, boundaries, and psychological needs. I can only imagine how many people don't know that dogs and cats can suffer from mental illness. Yes, mental illness. Dogs can develop anxiety, depression, separation distress, obsessive behaviors. Cats can develop stress disorders, over grooming, aggression caused by fear, withdrawal, and depression. But because they don't speak our language, their suffering gets ignored, or worse, punished. And then there's the ignorance and basic care. I'm gonna rewind on that part about the because they don't speak our language. I think it's deeper than that because children speak our language, other adults speak our language. It does. It's like when people are born in pain or experience pain that they never let go, they build everything on top of that pain. So under everything that you see that people have, the big trucks, the flashiness, the aesthetically pleasing body or the work that they get done, that pain is at the foundation of that. If you know about Louisiana, when we have rocky foundations or mushy foundations, the house starts to sink. And you need to have some type of foundation reconstruction done and the house lifted up and connecting that to the pain that people have, no matter what they put on top of the pain is always going to control the way they handle things. That is why people are able to be so careless and damaging because that's their way of recreating their inner world on the outer world. They think that the outer world being glamorous is going to heal the inner world, but what the inner world ends up doing is destroying all that glamour. That's why you see that everyone you see on social media that you think has it the way that you want it and you live your life wishing that you had it, these people are running from pain that they refuse to face. You as a regular person, you have the time that they don't have to actually face the pain you've been running from so that you don't continue destroying things, you don't continue mistreating things, you don't continue doing neglecting stuff and then you have to look back 5, 10, 15, 20 years later and regret it. If y'all not paying attention to the people around y'all online, when you see certain pages where it's people with past regrets and things they would change, they're the age that you are now or the age is that people wish they could go back to. People who still have young children. It's people that wish they could redo their childhood with their children again. People who neglecting pets. It's people lonely now after all the animals then died because of different illnesses that the animals caught early on that had they been taken care of them, they would have lived longer. Learn from these people mistakes. Like we can definitely look at mistakes in a way to not always bash people, but look at it in a learning lesson way. Anytime I mention this stuff, I get my delivery. Is a little bit. I don't even know what it is honestly, but it it's from a place of awareness, and I don't want to come on here like gimmicky or trying to develop parasocial following to get a faster reaction to people or have consistent following or to start doing brand deals and selling y'all all kind of scams and stuff. So it's not gonna be the Disneyland delivery like people who want stuff from y'all because I literally don't want any. I want you know what I want? I want people to be better people for themselves, not for me because I never benefited from anybody. Anybody I had connections with in life, I've always wanted to know the person behind everything. I didn't care about what they had to offer. Unlike me, on the other hand, I've definitely been on the receiving end of being connected to for sole purposes for many different reasons. And you can always tell the difference in those people. Anyway, so many people also don't realize that certain cat litter can actually hurt a cat's feet. Some litter is too sharp, too dusty, too chemically harsh. Imagine walking barefoot every day on something painful and not being able to explain it. Now imagine being blamed for avoiding the litter box or punished for going to the restroom somewhere else. That happens more than people think. That feels like trying to use the restroom at a gas station. Or the sharp bones people give their dogs. Many people don't know these bones can splinter, pierce organs, and cause internal bleeding, or even lead to fatal injuries. What's worse, people don't research this, but they can spend hours doom scrolling, hours every day. And that's my understanding for the usual person that you see scrolling. Number one, depending on how long people have been doing this for, this is now a habit of theirs. It's not even conscious no more. When we do stuff every day, it becomes a habit of ours. For people who brush their teeth in the morning, I know it's not that many of us out there. Like when you first get up, that's the first reaction. Like for me, I always drink water when I first wake up because we're dehydrated from sleeping for 5 to 8 hours a night. So I drink water and rehydrate and then I brush my teeth. So every day I do that regardless. I don't have to think. But when it comes to doom scrolling, if people been doing that for so long, that's why they do it while they driving. They do it while they standing there. If you notice, it's almost an impulsive reaction for people when they waiting for more than 2 seconds to immediately pull out their phone and just go to scrolling. Like if the app was just waiting for them. So that's a whole different monster as far as saying that people don't research this. Because for me, I have an understanding as to why they don't. I just don't get how many mishaps in life that people get caught in where they have to rely on people to pull them out. And when you see the solution was simple, why does the light bulb never hit that? Okay, let me start looking stuff up how to do this. Let me get better at that. Or for the people who sweat at they so strapped for cash, the fact that people don't research is why scams is so high. But also, on a positive note, you can build community by being someone who researches because if you live anywhere near homes, especially in cities with middle class people still living, you probably can cut people grass, make money that way, or change tires, or change light bulbs, or just do little different things. Or if you see cars that's missing the mirror, you can go on Amazon and DIY these people mirror and make money off of that. So research, the people who do research, either they're helping you or they're stealing from you or warning you. But 2 of the 3 don't get the credit that they deserve because people love the scammers because the scammers, they smile, they make you laugh, they relate to your pain. Whatever you say, they went through it too. Whatever you need, they can get it for you. Just send me the money. Whatever you're down on because y'all post all y'all business online, they come in your inbox with a solution to that answer. Whatever content you're looking for, they find your digital footprint, you send your email and make you think you want something because they already scoped you out. But anyways, so but basic research on caring for a living being, that's somehow too much. And don't even get me started on waste management, excessive barking, and poor hygiene. Living in multiple neighborhoods, including communities geared towards pet owners, I've seen something that's hard to ignore. People are generally lousy pet owners, very lousy actually. Not to mention, don't ever live by a dog park in an apartment complex where people lying to get into the apartment as far as fake income, and that's why people always lived there for 2 months and got evicted because they couldn't afford it, only for them to have their dogs barking at the dog park all willy nilly, all hours of the night. And then as soon as they see you come outside, that's when all of a sudden they won't start telling the animal stuff. First of all, why is your animal so upset? That is a reflection on you and your miserable ass household, because there are people out there who used to be at the dog park who animals would be huge, but you wouldn't even know it was anybody there because the way that the animals were so well behaved, and then the people out there with them, you see them reading or just doing something creative, and you could kind of tell, okay, so it is connected to these animals. It's not, dogs don't just be barking like that, especially not for me. Like, animals love me. So when animals are barking, I know that they're telling me this person is harming me. So I know why the cage dog sings, because it wants to run away from your ass. That's why. And it's honestly crazy because most of the people neglecting stuff, those are the people who want stuff. But if they just stopped and looked around at everything they're neglecting and actually started taking care of it and appreciating it and remembering that they were once a person who prayed for exactly that. Like, people be up here crying and happy when they get the things they want. And then next thing it's just disregarded. It's last week's news. And that is why the whole luxury lifestyle is nobody's friend. Nobody buys one bag and it's good. They always need another one and another one. It's just another way of having people addicted to stuff. And the same thing with pets. I've seen people run through pets like a pet cemetery, but don't take care of any of them. Some people, all of the pets run away because they getting the wrong food and just leaving it there and not even caring that the animal not eating it. Maybe because that animal might have an allergy or something, just like a child may have an allergy. And that's where it seems overwhelming, especially to people who not literate. Literate people have the simplest brains because anything more than that would send them into a panic to even try to digest it. And that's not even that's actual fact. That's not even a diss or nothing. And that's why it's so dangerous that people are small minded and they're not making any attempts to grow their brain, because it's the same equivalent of if you never got strength to walk. Your brain is a muscle. If you never developed enough muscles to walk, you will be crawling your whole life. Y'all brain is not the strength of the legs needed to walk. And so y'all barely are making it. And y'all are the people who it applies to. Some people, and honestly, depending on what niche I end up in, I probably won't even be talking to the people that it needed. They won't even be hearing it. But as long as we continue having these fatal flaws and romanticizing them, and then finding other people who share those same sick mindsets, you will always lose. Y'all people cannot be the people who believe in all of these things that are based off love and light and compassion and all of these other things, but are always neglecting and harming things that you wanted, that you have the power to take care of. Like, it's insane. And not to mention, many people are experiencing the same neglect themselves. So if anything, you should be compassionate, but some people end up being the same person that put them through things. If CPS had a pet division, a lot of pets would be repossessed. And then there's the families who get pets for the kids, but no one takes responsibility. No grooming, no hygiene, no training, no behavioral observation. Just another living being added to the chaos. Cats arguably have it the worst because they're not as expressive as dogs, and people actually tend to demonize them unfairly. Cats communicate subtly. They have boundaries, a flick of the tail, flattened ears, tension in their body. These are signals. They're saying stop, back away, I'm uncomfortable. But people ignore these signals, or worse, they think it's cute. They push further, and eventually, if the cat reacts out of instinct, out of fear, out of distress, then what happens? The cat gets punished, banished, labeled aggressive. Sounds familiar? When in reality, the cat was communicating the entire time. People just weren't listening. I used to think animals were drawn to me because of my spirit, and maybe that's still part of it, but now I think something else is happening. I might just be the first person to actually see them, to notice their body language, to respect their boundaries, to acknowledge their presence. And the realization is unfortunate because it suggests that many pets live their lives unseen. But the craziest part too is that I have that same effect on people for the exact same reason. And given the fact that everyone swears that they have this scammer alert or this alert to know when people are trying to deceive them. A lot of the times my regular character traits triggers people's insecurities, and it's amazing to me because that shows me that they literally must be used to being disrespected a lot because having basic manners, I don't even go above and beyond. Used to 20s used to do that in my 20s, but I'm meh now. So it shows me that people are so used to if a person is nice to them, that they want something from them. So when a person is seemingly nice, because I'm not nice at all, but that's the word people used to describe people that's not mean, I guess. But they always will wonder what the catch was, and that's why now I definitely don't communicate with people in public. Like people could talk to me, and I'll always respond, but I'm not an initiator because you just never know what's on people's mind. You don't know who you dealing with, and definitely as a 6'1" semi-muscular man, like I'm not about to be in nobody facing the this person. Nah, I don't tell y'all nothing. If as long as y'all ain't about to get hit by a car, and depending on your attitude before that, I definitely won't tell you nothing unless it's life threatening. And even then, you got to be careful with that because people these days, not even these days, the internet jumped out, but people tend to have a tendency to not like to be told anything. And super ignorant people, you warning them is you hating. And I'm no one's hater. I'll be at your funeral though, eating the food, hopefully. Anyways, I've also noticed something else. The way people treat pets often mirrors how they treat people. People want friends, but they aren't reliable. They don't listen. They aren't supportive. They complain constantly, but never can be a listening ear. They take more than they could give. People want relationships, but they small talk potential partners to death. Shout out to people who send what you doing every 5 seconds with no clear reason. And any attempt to deepen the conversation, they disappear and then they come back with more what you doing messages. And then those same people may even want to FaceTime, but then they put phones down. Like it's like people just want background noise when they have websites and YouTube videos just for that. But anyways, but they make no real plans. They talk about a mystical future while doing nothing in the present. It's the same pattern. Wanting connection without responsibility. And that's exactly why hookup cultures will always be prevalent, no matter what era it is. Because if you notice, anything that allows people to get what they want with the least amount of responsibility is always the popular thing. I've seen people judge others' cleanliness while their pets roam and poop all over homes. I've seen people change litter but never clean the litter box so it smells like a fish market, then wonder why their house smells like a septic tank. There's also a major reason pet adoption is so important and why foster numbers keep rising. It's not just strays, it's pet owners, people not spaying and neutering. That made me think about something, but I'm not even gonna go there on here. Letting pets roam freely, then when the animal comes back pregnant, they evict the pet or give the babies away. Another harsh reality. First of all, too, if any of y'all have pets that get pregnant or y'all trying to give them away, send them to me. I'll put my PO box in the description. Most people don't know that letting a cat live outside drastically shortens its lifespan. An indoor cat can live up to 20 years, sometimes more. An outdoor cat up often 5 years, sometimes less. Yet people proudly say my cat is an inside outside cat, not realizing you literally just divided his lifespan into four. Like it could have lived for 20 years, but yeah, not realizing they're dramatically increasing the risk of cars, predators, disease, poison, weather exposure. Just this morning, I sat in my car for 30 seconds. A cat was frozen in the middle of the street, and it was one of them cats that looked like it should have its own channel. Like you know, it's not a full stray cat because like it was huge. That cat don't miss its own meals, and it don't miss nobody in that house meals. Like had it been one of the cars going 60 miles per hour, that cat would have been would have been a panini, and whoever owned it might not even have noticed for days. The cat was obese, so I know it had a home. Feral cats don't get that luxury. And that moment, it said everything because neglect doesn't always look like cruelty. Sometimes it looks like indifference, and indifference is often more dangerous than cruelty. Yeah, that's like a person being in your life and always neglecting you. You do better being alone versus having somebody around that your brain is by naturally gonna want to lean on, and then they're never there for you because cruelty gets noticed, indifference quietly destroys. So when you start noticing this pattern, you'll realize something deeper. Neglect isn't just about pets. Now I'll say that 3 times because I know the people who need to hear it. Neglect isn't just about pets. Neglect isn't just about pets. Don't say that in the mirror or the SPCA gonna call you. It's about how we treat responsibility. It's about wanting the comfort without the commitment, the aesthetic without the effort, and unfortunately, living beings end up paying the price. And also, as a bonus, I want y'all to see they have a very important book that I want y'all to see to share a screen. Yeah, I wanted to show this meow thing, but for whatever reason, the browser has blocked your screen. There we go. This is the meow book. It's really funny though. Also, too, the video over, but I wanted to remind anybody in case you ever wanted to do content that you not allowed to read full news articles or full books or anything because that actually is copyright infringement. They really don't find it too often, so people get away with it. But if you ever have someone that decides to report you, if that's what you've done on a video, baby, it's not worth the trouble. So if you ever share anything from another source, try to keep it into a minimum. That's why I used to add clips to the videos to add flavor to it, but it's not really worth that. Like I'm enough content myself, I would hope. I don't know. But anyways, keep maintaining I was about to say something positive and didn't even have the thought formed all the way. Y'all have a great day or a great year, a great week or whatever.
Like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.